How are you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate it. Shout out to all the subscribers. Gratitude to anyone new. Welcome along. This is a cautionary tale. This video is going to be talking about Tim Tszyu and his current situation. He obviously has a huge fight. We're going to be talking about Joey Spencer and that fight and the matchup towards the end of the video. But I want to focus in on, what's happened in the last couple of years and how a fighter with too much heart, with too much courage, with too much ego has, seen the brutal, unforgiving side of boxing, really, and, has been basically brought down a peg or two and is looking to bounce back in spectacular fashion in a high stakes fight, really. This is a huge fight for him. 3 losses in a row could be detrimental, but we really want to focus on how you need to protect this.
Don't know if it was what it was exactly, but afterwards it just felt like bombs were getting in my head. I was just getting bombs exploding non-stop.
It's over! Putting on the power shots, and it took Tszyu's corner to throw in the towel to end the second straight loss.
All right, as always appreciate you guys tuning in. This is as I said, we're going to be talking about Tim Tszyu, so let's get straight into it. Obviously devastating loss for him in his previous fight against Bakram. I did not see that coming. Most boxing fight fans did not see that coming. And when you look back at hindsight, well, the whole thing about Bakram was very deceiving about his last fight against Jack Colquet, and that, certainly bamboozled a lot of us, including me. I thought Tim Tszyu was going to wipe him out in 3 to 5 rounds, but the way he was fighting, he certainly was trying to. But watching some of the interviews, the press conference and stuff like that,
I knew that I didn't want to take the long road to get back to the top, and the shorter it is, the harder the opponents are. And I knew by taking Joe Spencer this early, at this time, you're going to go straight back into where you belong. Just focusing right now on getting back to where I belong. I learned a lot. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger.
It was a bit more encouraging, I'll be honest with you, because when he did the post-fight interviews, shortly after, that was a bit concerning, because he kind of brushed it off as if it was just, he got caught with a shot.
It's hard to say because you just got caught early, it's boxing. Like the fact that, boxing's so unexpected, it comes early, It's not like it was a close fight and he got me in the end. It was round 2, he caught me. I didn't get to showcase myself, and it is what it is. It's boxing. It's boxing. You get hit when you're nice and cold, and that's it. You're shook and
he didn't know what shot. He hadn't watched it.
I don't know what I got hit with, but I think it was a left hook or something like that. I haven't rewatched it. I wouldn't really know. But I remember when I got hit with the first shot, it was something that I've never felt before.
Yeah, I did do a video about this, and I talked about it in the middle of the video, but I wanted to elaborate on it a little bit, because obviously Bakram's team did a tremendous job on the film study leading up to the fight. I'll pull up clips as well during this video of Bakram's trainer where, and I've spoken about this before, he was very meticulous about everything.
Every single fight you watch him, he's got the pressure, the way he comes in, the way he pulls from a punch, he doesn't jump back, he's flat-footed, he just turns kind of back this way, tries to counter punch. He's good at those things, and when he throw a jab, he slips this way, tries to attack the body or the head. So I study all the stuff that he's good at.
From the way Tim Tszyu, his elbows are, from how he leans not properly when he leans doing the body shot, he doesn't duck in like that. He kind of turns over, drops his right hand.
So I study all the stuff that he's good at and try to you know, because I know he's going to do it for sure. If he's bad at something, he might not do it. He might correct it.
I mean, he went on and on and on and on. It was very impressive. So, you know, you could say that Tim Tszyu's team dropped the ball. Were they looking past him? All these things, when you come into play, were like, you know what? You have to say they were overlooking him. Of course, they were. You know, some people were saying he was being a bit arrogant, and you know, I sort of agree, but at the same time, like you need ego. You know, I mentioned checking your ego is important. You do need an ego. you got to keep it under control a little bit. And you know, basically, it just seemed like his ego got out of control a little bit. And you know, he said it. What must be even more devastating is he said he felt amazing.
I was in unbelievable shape, and what I felt was like a superhuman feeling.
You know, so he was asked the question of why did you go into that fight so gung-ho? He didn't really have an answer.
Why did you fight? Why did you start that fight the way you did?
Good question. Another good question.
Thank you. That's what I do for a job.
I just did. That's it. I just did. And what was I thinking that time? I don't know.
Maybe he was a bit not embarrassed, but it's a tough question to answer, isn't it? When you know you're talking about getting knocked out and stuff like that. Even though you have to face it, but it was great to hear that he actually watched the fight back. But the whole thing, you know, I think just overall, why I wanted to make it a cautionary tale, and this is the new direction I'm taking this channel in. It's, you know, more I want to focus on some art, and the intro was like something I made, you know, hopefully it wasn't too emotional. It was a piece of music that I made, and I was like, this could be, you know, could either switch people off or it might draw people in. But either way, I'm just trying to make boxing and art and talk about a bit of science. That's the channel now. So, you know, maybe it's, you know, going to be like that scene in Back to the Future where he's like, you kids are going to love it, where people just like, what the hell? But, you know, I'm just being creative and just being myself. So it's all that matters, really. But back to Tim Tszyu, you know, look, he's got so much heart in this game. He's got the most amount of heart, I think, in the game, at least one of several fighters that I cover heavily, you know, Subriel Matias, David Benavidez. I'm sure, you know, there's a ton of others that aren't coming to mind. Usyk, you know, I mean, Bud Crawford, you know, the list goes. I mean, you could list loads and loads. I can't cover them all, but I'm very drawn. Gabe Rosado, but he's retired now. Regis Prograis, you know, I'll focus on those because I'm enamored by it. You know, I'm just like, wow. And he has got the steel mentality, which is why I think he'll be completely fine on the comeback, as long as they do make the adjustments.
I needed to go through it and correct the mistakes.
And it becomes this, you got to fight with this, you know, because the longevity of the sport, you know, protecting this and protecting this, your chin, you can't protect it, you know, you can't come flying in, you can't underestimate people anymore, you can't, I say anymore like he's done it his whole career. Really, I don't think he has. I think he's just really believed in himself and has been a better fighter than everybody up until background. You know, the Fundora fight was what it was. It was a major blemish because we know what happened in that. But, you know, I like the way he's sounding. You know, he has watched the fight back, like I said, and he's really started to, you know, the time is a healer, as they say. And it was a bit concerning where he just skirted over everything, didn't seem to give background much credit, didn't seem to know. And I was just like, you got, you know, I talked about Usyk, how he watched his fight back after winning the next day 2 or 3 times, writing down notes, mistakes, what to do, where he went wrong, blah, 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 fixing it. And this is coming off a win, one of his, you know, biggest wins in his career. This is the biggest loss, obviously, in his career. They got to get to the drawing board, you know, and I'll get onto Joey Spencer in a minute because I really wanted to drill home the importance of boxing, being smart, which is the whole irony of this loss, really, because he is actually quite a smart fighter. In fact, he was on the sidelines. I'll try and find the clip. When his brother fights, who's not a very intelligent fighter, he's a warrior, but he is not a very smart fighter. And you think, well, out of the two, you know, Tim Tszyu's got the brains, but he's normally on the sidelines going, be smart, be smart. And he's like, that's, if only his brother was on the sidelines saying that, he fought like his brother in his last fight. And, you know, it just, yeah, it's a cautionary tale, as I said, a little bit of, I'm trying to give these videos a theme, and it just reminded me of, like, you know, don't give too much. Don't be too brave. Don't be too courageous. Don't be too egotistical. But you can be egotistical because it's so important in this sport. But you got to check your ego, and you know, just respect. And actually, he's making a big point of not looking past Joey Spencer. He's been asked the question several times, and he's like, no, we're on Spencer, and I like to hear that.
Me solely just focusing right now on just that. Not focused about anyone besides Joey.
This growth, that's growth. Growth in a human being is very important, and you know, in a short space of time from the interviews to the interviews, there's growth there mentally. So this is going to be a big mental test for him, not a heart test. And he said even it kind of was like where he talked about, oh, I'll probably go straight back to it maybe, or something like that.
So how do you change it this time around?
Don't do what I did last time.
So how do you do that then?
Just, I guess.
What do you have
I
to
don't
change?
know, man. We'll see. Maybe I'll do the same thing and just hopefully not get knocked out.
All right, don't do that, bro. Just, you know. But look, let's talk about Joey Spencer because you know, he's a talented kid. I remember watching him a few years ago when he was coming up through PBCs. He was about 2021, something like that. Flashy, speedy, decorated amateur. I think he won some national titles, and you can see his style definitely more suited to the amateurs because he doesn't like the pressure. He lost to Jesus Ramos. He got ran out the ring.
On the bigger Joey Spencer just isn't really keeping his hands on.
Just, you know, he's definitely not. You know, people have said he's got some power in there. I don't think he's got that much power, to be honest. I think his record doesn't necessarily suggest that. I mean, if you look at his punch KOs, maybe, but you can tell he's got a good flashy jab. He's got a good check hook. He's got a good lead hook, and you know, he's got, you know, he leaves that left hand low, right? And I know I've seen a few people talking about Tim Tszyu's right hand is open for that, but actually more importantly, a left hook and a right hand.
But it's a very awkward dance. You see where they're
where he was catching Fondora with quite a lot with coming in when you take the left hook, step in with the left hook, create a diversion, and then come in with the right hand. Diversion meaning, you know, just throw it out there. You're not even trying to land it. You just throw it into his face, maybe into so he blocks it, and then come through with the right hand. There's a left hook, right hand rating for him. It's like a little analogy, right? If you got an army and you got a bunch of archers and you got a cavalry. And you're like, all right, we're trying to break into this castle. We're not all just going to go straight. Let's send the archers around the side, have them fire in some fire on the top, create some chaos, and then bulldoze down the middle. That's what, you know, a jab can do, or, you know, even when you're throwing a left hook, just create a little diversion and then boom, come in with the big right hand.
But it's a very awkward dance. You see where their front feet are. Another snap, another right hand lands.
But, you know, ultimately, Joey Spencer doesn't love the pressure. He actually had a controversial win in his last fight. I watched a little bit of it, but, you know, I read a lot of the comments, basically a lot of people saying that he got the nod there. But, you know, look, he sounds hungry. But he can fight a little bit, and he is, you know, is a good matchmaking, really, because I don't think you should put him in with a puncher, and I don't think Joey Spencer is a puncher, but it sounds like he is, and it sounds like he's hungry and dangerous. Maybe he's definitely hungry.
The ultimate goal, which is winning the title. This one, you know, I got to be honest, I want this one a little bit more than I think I've ever wanted to fight before. I really want to win this one. We're taking every part of our preparation extremely serious.
And he's certainly dangerous in the sense he's got skills, and he can certainly defuse the bomb. That is, if Tim Tszyu's going to come out like that. But I think he will, but I can't imagine he won't at some point. The first 4 rounds will be interesting. Excuse me. I'd like to see him be patient again. You know, be calculated. Use that systematic pressure, but keep, you know, he's got good defense when he used it. That's the only time he hasn't had good defense is in the background fight. And, you know, all of the things I mentioned were probably a part to play, you know, and he probably felt like a superhuman. He probably thought, I'm going to take you out. That's why I mentioned 3 to 5 rounds. I was like, I think he's going to go for it. But, you know, I didn't think background would be so formidable. But you know, when you have someone that's actually physically strong, can punch and isn't afraid of you, that's what can diffuse Tim Tszyu style in the future. You got to be careful. You might face somebody again like that that's not going to be afraid of him. Is going to be able to take his power, and you know, you're going to have to find a way around that. You can't just, you know, bulldoze your way through everybody. Virgil Ortiz springs to mind if they ever fight. You know, you can't just go in there and take left hooks off him. No way. You know, you got to be smart. Which again, it's so ironic because he is smart. But anyway, that's it from me. Just a cautionary tale. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, I really appreciate you tuning in, and hope hope people might understand the new kind of angle I'm taking here. So I'm not going to be on a schedule so much, but you know, we'll cover these fights, but I normally talk about something scientific, but I've got a lot to do with this video. It's already getting on there, and I've got a bunch of editing to do. So I'll talk about science in the next video regarding this matchup. Maybe closer to the date, I'll do something. I've got a video coming on Jai Mccalister pretty soon. I want to talk about the Ramirez potential fight, and or whatever else comes up. You know, I will be back. You know, I've got so much going on right now, it's hard to keep up to date. I've got a new channel with my, well, it's not that new, but it's teaching boxing. If you guys are interested, if anyone wants to learn, you know, I teach boxing, and I've made a channel. I will leave there, actually at the end of this video, a little clip from a left hook video that I just made where I'm in the gym just hitting the bag. But you know, come over, I'll leave the link in the description. As always, greatly appreciated. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks as always. Peace. I'm out.
How to practice a left hook, right? Or a right hook if you're a southpaw. Just switch it round. Make sure you get the right distance from the bag. You don't want to be too far away. You're going to be reaching. You don't want to be too close. It's going to smother your shots, right? Get the nice distance. Get a good stance. Very, very, very important. Relax. Hands on your chin. Elbows in the rib cage. And you're just going to loop the shot round, right? Keeping this on the chin here. You want to end like this, but try to not make it too robotic, right? You don't want to come in like a robot like that. You want to have a bit of looseness and a bit of whip. A bit of swing on that arm. You want it to end up like that, but how it gets there is the rhythm and the swing and the leverage, right? And you got to drop the shoulder a little bit.
If you look right here, a massive part of punching, especially the left hook, is the rotation of your hips and the turning of your shoulders. And I'll slow this down and then reverse it too, so you can really see. And this is why having a good stance is so important, because the hips and the shoulder will be out front, and then as you turn them, the rotation occurs, and then the arm whips the hook in, but the shoulders and the rotation of the hips and then the turning of the front foot all combine to create that torque that you're looking for.
A bit of swing on that arm.
Try to take your time when you're punching. Sometimes in these videos I'm punching a little fast and a little hard, but you know, I just want you guys to really focus on good technique. Don't worry about speed and power just yet. Worry about good technique, good rhythm, good timing, and then when you get the technique down, build the speed up and the power up.
Repetition. Making sure you keep your elbow in the rib cage and the glove on your cheekbone, resting here nice and relaxed. Bringing that punching hand right back to your chin. All right. Lives on your chin. When you move, it's going to be harder to connect your feet with your hands. So just stay right here. Get the rhythm, get the consistency, get the timing, get the flow, get the fluidity, get the leverage. You can turn the front foot, but you don't have to go crazy with turning it, right? A common mistake the beginners do is they do turn the front foot too much, right? It kind of turns it too far, and that way your body doesn't need to go that far. It just needs to go where it needs to go. And if, for example, if I'm here and I can feel my leg needing to turn, I turn it. But if I'm here, it doesn't need to turn. Right? From here, it kind of does. I can feel it. Repetition will be the key, always. Repetition, consistency. Don't try to punch too fast, and don't try to punch with too much power. Get the good technique, then you can build those two up, right? Don't try to punch too fast and don't try to punch with too much power. Get the good technique, then you can build those two up, right? Very important. Good little tip for practicing is throw the right hand through, right? It sets up the shoulder and then boom, and gives it that swing. Stay relaxed, consistently punch. You want to put a bit more speed and power, that's fine. It's good to stay in one place too. You know, the more you move, it might hinder your technique. For now, as a complete beginner, stay in one place and just enjoy yourself, you know? Exhale on every punch. Don't forget to drop the shoulder. Drop the shoulder a little bit, right? Opens it up. Drop the shoulder. Drop the shoulder. This pushes the shoulder right back here. It's a really good way to practice it. And if you want to move around the bag, move around the bag. Yeah, and if you get confident enough, standing in one place, shooting the same hook, move around the bag a little bit. It makes it a bit more difficult, but keep your feet set when you punch, right? Here, here, here. And that's it. Oh yeah, record yourself. That's really important. Then you can see the mistakes you're making.
Boxing.
Knowledge.